guitar nerds and tone geeks, it's Pete Thorn. Welcome to my studio. Hey, it's the new Carbon Copy Mini from MXR. Hard to believe the original Carbon Copy analog delay from MXR has been out, I think, a little over 10 years now. Man, time is flying far too fast, but it's true, over 10 years, and it's become kind of a staple analog delay. It's probably the easiest to find analog delay out there on the market. It sounds great. And it's just got a really cool modulation section in it. It's vibey. What more could you want out of an analog delay? It's a really cool pedal and kind of a modern classic at this point, I think. So MXR has released a couple different versions of it since then. I think there's a deluxe version, and now they've got this Carbon Copy Mini, which is super small, so you can fit it on just about any pedal board. And it retains the modulation section from the original, and it's also got a bright switch on the side, so you can get a couple different sort of tonalities out of the pedal with more rolled off top end, or if you want to get a little bit more clarity, you can totally do that with that bright switch. For all the tracks on the song at the beginning of the video, I used the standard bright setting, which is sort of the darker setting, but I'm going to show you in a minute here what it sounds like on the brighter setting as well. There's internal trim controls, so you can adjust the modulation if you want. I just left it the same in my video because I like the way it sounds, and trim pots scare me sometimes. I don't want to screw up the original tone. I really like the mod. But it's just basically speed and depth control, so you can change it. You can get a much faster modulation or slower kind of chorusing. Now, Mr. George Trips is a talented dude. He's the designer of this pedal, and he's, of course, done all kinds of, from way huge stuff, going way, way back to all kinds of stuff for MXR, as well as some other companies. He's a really, really smart guy. And one thing he really has nailed is the taper of pots, especially when you're going to run a pedal like this in front of an amplifier. You can basically crank the mix control on this pedal. Anywhere from about noon till on up to crank works really well in front of clean to edgy breakup to downright crunchy amps. You know, a lot of pedals, the mix will come on like really fast, and you gotta, especially if you're using it into dirt, a delay like this, you'll have to keep that mix down like below 10 o'clock, and it's kind of touchy. Not so with anything that George designs, especially not these days. He knows guitar players are going to plug these into the front of amplifiers, many times the front of maybe amplifiers that are slightly overdriven, and so he's kind of got the taper of the mix pot all dialed in for that. The regeneration control is similar, like it's real controllable as far as going into oscillation. Starts to kind of oscillate at anything above maybe 3/4 of the way up, and you can turn it all the way up, and it's a real controllable kind of oscillation. It doesn't freak out too quickly or anything like that. It's got a nice kind of, kind of a slow burn kind of thing when it comes to the crazy stuff. You can just crank up the mix and crank up the feedback, and it'll sort of predictably start oscillating in a really cool way, and then you can manipulate the delay time if you want to get spaceship taking off and landing effects, was what I was trying to say. Anyway, enough talk. Let's listen to the Carbon Copy Mini a little bit more going into my PT15 amplifier. Here we go. It's the Carbon Copy Mini, super duper space saver analog delay for the modern guitarist pedal board. Modulation, controllable oscillation, bright switch, what more could you possibly want? It's fantastic. You can check it out further at that website that you see there on your screen. And hey, please hit subscribe, hit the little bell beside the subscribe button. You will get an alert when I put out a new video. I am Pete Thorn. You guys take care. See ya.